Everybody, how are you all doing? Good. Awesome, great. My name is Julian, or you can call me Jules, because only my mum calls me Julian when she's pissed off at me, so I prefer Jules. So, 17 minutes, not long. There's three things that you can give in this life to make the world better: your time, your talent, or your money. Who agrees with that? Some people have no money to give, so maybe you got your time and your talent. And for me, when I was growing up, I didn't have a lot of money. Didn't have a lot to be honest, but I did have a bit of time to give to try and make the world better. And all you really have in life is your choices. Life is simple, but we do overcomplicate it. So I work in the preemptive mental health space and human behaviour, which is why you do the things that you do. Show of hands, is it anyone in the room ever wondered why you make certain decisions? Few, cool. Better question, anyone in the room, show of hands, in a relationship right now? Ever wonder why your partner makes stupid decisions? Out of all the choices that you could have made, you made that one, fair? Life is simple, but we do overcomplicate it. You either make choices towards the person that you want to be or choices away. In the moment of choice is where your destiny lies. The choices towards the mum, the dad, the person that you want to be, or choices away from it. Anyone had a really tough week at work before? Friday afternoon? What do you say about Fridays? Thank God it's Friday, right? You get home from work as quick as you can without speeding. You get to the front door, you kick open the front door, and you run down the hallway as quick as you can to get to the what? The fridge. You open the fridge. There's a bottle of water and a bottle of wine. What do you go with? Wine. You goon bag that shit, true? Anyone know what a goon bag is? I'm from a place called Maddington, so we used to have a lot of goon bags when I was young, growing up. Used to put them on a clothesline and spin them. But this is not about my misguided youth. This is about the choices that we make in life. I've got one of the best jobs in the world. I get to wake up every day and try and help people improve their life, overcome their challenges, and try and be the best people they can be. Great job. But I always ask my clients this, and over the last 8 years, I've worked with about 150,000 people across the country. A lot of people, right? I always ask people this. Are you living the way you want to be remembered? Are you living the way you want to be remembered? Are your choices congruent to that? What's your legacy? Because it matters. And the choices that you make and the impacts you make all come down to, are you making choices towards or away? Who agrees with this? So, how do I know a lot about this type of stuff? Well, I think when I mentioned before, we work in the lived experience space, preemptive. I'm just going to find my clicker somewhere I put here. Here it is. Preemptive, who believes that prevention is better than a cure? Yes. Is that the same when it comes to mental health? Yes. Working in the green, which is working on your mental health when you want to, not have to. When you have to work on your mental health, when you have to do something, what does it become? Anyone like doing the dishes? Anyone think taking their partner out for date night's a chore? Maybe. But if you make the things that are good for your life chores, you'll never appreciate them. So what I know about people is this: when we feel good, we take better action. And what's behind every single company on the planet? People. So to me, if you truly want to be sustainable in this world, you've got to work on being a sustainable person and using that enthusiasm, that passion, that energy to make the world better. There's two types of energies: the ones that take from you and the ones that give. Anyone ever met an energy vampire before? Do they give or take? They take, right? You have energy vampires right next to you, I'm sure. Look at them. And there'll be people in your life that actually give you energy and you want to run through a brick wall and change the world because they jack you up for life. I wonder which one are you? What causes unhappiness and what causes you to feel happy? Two things that I know: growing as an individual and using that to make a difference in this world. Learning from your mistakes, your experiences, the things that hurt us. We all go through pain in life, do we not? Who agrees with that? There's one thing that I promise, regardless of where you're from, beliefs, colour, race. Universal is pain. Pain changes the way that we see the world, changes the way that we see people, but most importantly, pain changes the way we see who? It shifts us. Sometimes for the worse, sometimes for the better. Anyone ever met a person before with trust issues? How do you build trust issues? Poor experiences over time. So what you go through matters, and how it defines you is even more important. So you work in the preemptive space, as I mentioned before. When I first started Happiness Co, there wasn't really lots in the green. There was lots in the red though. Therapy, crisis care. Anyone heard of Lifeline? Trying to save a life. There wasn't a lot in the green, so we were kind of the early adopter of trying to get people to work on their mental health when they want to. I want to be a better dad. I want to be a better mum. I want to be a positive person, rather than, has anyone ever met someone before that's at rock bottom? They've already made so many poor choices, haven't they? It's hard to get them back. So working in the green is really important. We're more motivated, we're more passionate. It's about what inspires us to be better though, pain or pleasure. Anyone ever heard someone say I'm a really good person? Why do bad things happen to me? Would we agree that bad things happen to good people all the time? Your intentions aren't that important, but your impact is. Your intention of being a nice person and wanting to make a difference in this world is only as good as you waking up and doing it. Anyone had the intention of going to the gym tomorrow morning? At 5 o'clock, and you get up at 5 o'clock and your alarm goes off and it's too cold, what do? You never make the impact. So your choices have to be the representation of your impact in life. How do I know a bit about this? I'm going to show you a bit of a story that will give you context, real quick. But the life when I wasn't contributing versus the life when I was, and how it changed me for the better. And when I wasn't, I was not a really happy young person. I dropped out of school when I was 13 years old. Anyone know what dyslexia is? I dropped out of school because I can't read and I can't write. So when I was at school, I was bullied. I lasted 2 weeks at high school. Anyone ever seen a sad person before? How would you know I was sad? I didn't tell you. Probably my shoulders, where would I be looking? What type of people do bullies pick on? The big or the small? Small. So I dropped out of high school. I said, Mum, I'm never going to high school ever again. She goes, you have to go to school. You're 13 years old. And I said, if you make me go to school, I'll run away from home. I'm from Maddington, by the way, and kids go missing all the time. So I knew the odds were on my side. I dropped out of high school. She goes, well, if you're not going to go to school, you've got to get a what? Job. My first job was a garden bin disposal guy. Anyone know the people that take the trash out? That was my life for 5 years. The best thing about being a garden bin disposal guy was this. No one teased me, no one bullied me, no one picked on me. I was absolutely invisible. I got what I wanted. Be very careful what you wish for. True? Because what you think about, you become. The more you think about these things, the more you see them. And I thought I wasn't good enough because I couldn't read and write properly. And my dad was a massive part of that. He said, son, don't link your self-esteem and your self-worth to trying to be an A-grade student. Link your self-esteem and your self-worth to trying to be an A-grade what? Person. Do you know what? You've got to be good people and want to make the world different and better by being a good person yourself. Be kind, be loving, be decent to yourself and to others. Be decent to yourself and to others. Authenticity. Who agrees that authenticity is a bit of a superpower when it comes to life? Just not trying to fake who you are. Just being honest and congruent to that. That was my life. And who was really important to me as a young man growing up, because I think we all have this ability, by the way, is to give people permission to be better. Who agrees? We all have permission to give someone the belief they can be better in their life. Your organisations, your teams, your workplaces. That was my dad to me. But sadly, when I was young, my life changed, and it was because of him. He changed. How do you build sustainable happiness if you're not making good choices? How can you build sustainable companies if you're taking shortcuts? How you do anything is how you do everything. You take shortcuts in your relationship, you take shortcuts in your life. You take shortcuts in your life, you take shortcuts in your job. My dad started to take shortcuts. And sadly, I lost my father to suicide when I was 21. And that changed me forever. Why? Because no longer did my world make sense. He had everything that you ever wanted. He had 3 beautiful kids, he had the nice cars, the nice houses, and he was making a difference in this world, but he lacked one thing. Did he like the person he was? And that changed me. Changed the way I saw the world, changed the way I saw people, but most importantly, changed myself. And when you have a broken heart and you're not dealing with how you feel, what type of choices do you make? Choices towards or away. This is sustainability, by the way. I started making many poor choices away from the young man I was. Hurt lots of good people. And misery loves what? What type of friends did I find? Sad, miserable, and lonely people. Energy vampires. 2 types of things that help the pain go away. What were they? Drugs and alcohol. And there's no amount of drugs and alcohol to take away a broken heart. So you've got to get to work to rebuild your life. But rock bottom did teach me a few things. But I want you to think about compounding happiness versus compounding unhappiness. Anyone in the finance game in the room? I won't butcher this for you, but we all understand what compounding is, yes? You save some money, 2, 4, 8, 16, 32. It compounds over time. Save your money, people. But compounding unhappiness is very similar to compounding happiness if you understand it, your philosophy on life. Anyone ever had a cheeseburger before? Did you have your first cheeseburger and have a heart attack the next day? No. It's the cheeseburgers you have every night that causes cholesterol and bad health. Anyone had a fight with their partner before and got divorced after the first fight? No, you don't. You don't have one fight with your partner and your life falls apart. There is one key ingredient that I promise you leads to people's unhappiness. And if you're not happy, It's hard to make good choices in this world. It's hard to make our businesses shine and make a difference. It's neglect. You neglect your health, what happens to your health? Deteriorates. You neglect your finances, you've got no money. You neglect your relationships, they fall apart. You end up like the Grinch. Anyone know who the Grinch is? Just a sad, angry man at Christmas. You neglect your health, deteriorates. I think I already said that. Your career, sorry. You don't have a great career. But you neglect yourself, your whole life starts to fall apart. So compounding happiness versus compounding unhappiness. Is it fair to say we all have the same amount of time between now and Christmas? The same amount of time in a day. The only question is what you do with your time. That's it. So compounding unhappiness, you'll never be able to sustain making a positive difference if you're making choices like this. You might be able to get it right for a while, shutting people out, trying to do it alone. They say if you want to go fast, then go alone. If you want to go far, then go together. What would it be like to work with someone like this long term? And what's it like when you look at yourself in the mirror? Can you be really good at what you do and really bad at who you are? Think about that for a second. Can you be really good at what you do and really bad at who you are? What's the biggest killer of men under the age of 45 in the country? You might think that's people not like us. It's absolutely people just like us, people with things to lose. So it's about making sure that you like who you are along the way. Self-esteem is really important to this. And people who lack a bit of self-esteem lack that ability to find sustainable happiness. Versus this one. You're not always going to get it right when you're working on yourself and moving forward in life, but they are better, healthier choices, are they not? They give permission for people to fail. They inspire you to be better. So remember, when you're thinking about your life right now, I wonder which type of side of the coin you're on. The compounding unhappiness or the compounding happiness? I mentioned before that I lost my dad to suicide. That's what taught me all these things that I know today and what got me into human behaviour. But it taught me 3 things, and hopefully these 3 things help you in your life. And this is not about if you're facing a problem. This is about life in general, because your problems will never go away. You just get better at dealing with them. Who agrees with this? Your problems will never go away. You just get better at dealing with your problems. So rock bottom taught me 3 things. Number 1, hope. Number 2, choices. And number 3, legacy. Starting with hope. Apply this anywhere you like. All you need is a drop of hope in your depths of despair to give yourself a fighting chance. Hope. The research on hope is profound. Inspire your people and your teams by hope. What are you doing here? What gets you out of bed in the morning? How are we making the world better? Inspire them by hope. Not by logic and data. Get them to emotionally buy into why they're there. Hope. Anyone known someone going through chemotherapy before? What do they need? Hope. Anyone turned on the TV lately and seen what's happening in Ukraine? What do they need? Hope. Never forget the power of it. Number 2, choices. Life isn't about what happens to you, even though we think at times it is. Life isn't about what happens to you. It's about the person you decide to become. Anyone know who Oprah is? Yep, great person. She once said this to me. Well, not directly to me. I was in the audience. But she looked at me and she gazed. She said, and I believe what she said, I won't let the bad things that people did to me define the person I become. Do we all believe that Oprah's made the world a lot better? I won't let the bad things that people did to me define the person I become. Who gets to define who you become? Only you. Know that. And number 3, legacy. This is why you're all here, I'm sure. So legacy is not what you leave behind. Legacy is what you leave in people. Legacy is not what you leave behind, it's what you leave in people. What does that mean? Well, every single person in this room today makes a difference in this world. The only question is, do you make a good one or not? Every single person in this room today makes a difference in this world. The only question is, are you making it a good one or not? And how do we assess that? Well, understanding these things. Achievement versus fulfillment. We all know how to achieve things, don't we? Going after gold, more money, more things, more things, more things. Keeping up with the Joneses. Anyone know a person with a lot of money that was miserable? True? Someone with a perfect relationship would look like that, but that person felt lonely. On the left-hand side is what's key. So we work with the Australian cricket team, the Eagles, the Dockers, the Wildcats, do a lot in this space. Personal performance matters. And this is how we evaluate it. What's your self-esteem? Do you like who you are? Self-respect, how you let people treat you. Are you being authentic? Do you have meaningful relationships? Are you doing good things with good people? Contribution. Are you using your time, your effort, your energy, your money to try and make this world a little better? And I'll leave you with this because my time is nearly done. Life isn't always easy, is it? So building a company for me has been one of the hardest things I've ever gone through. But to have a meaningful life, you have to have meaningful problems. Just think about that for a second. To have a meaningful life and a job of purpose and a life of purpose, it comes with an incredible burden, does it not? But you're doing it for a greater good. You're not doing it because you're getting a result. Always know this, your reasons over your results. You've got to have good reasons to get yourself out of bed in the morning. Not because the bank account weighs up. Anyone in the room look at their bank account like, I'm broke today? Happiness Co. hasn't always been financially successful. It has over the last 2 years, but it hasn't always been. Most stressful time of my life, but I always had a good reason to keep going. A reason beyond my bank account. We have now 15 employees, about 150 volunteers across the country, something I'm really proud of. And we all live by these things here. We employ by them. We employ by them. You can't train someone how to care about people, can you? You can train people with the technical skills of what they do, but you can't train someone how to care. So, rock bottom, as I mentioned before. People always ask me this, how did you heal your broken heart? I said, I didn't heal my broken heart. I still have a broken heart. But can you have a broken heart and still be brave? Please never forget this. Wherever you are in life right now, wherever you are in your businesses, and whatever you're trying to do to achieve great things, your heart will get broken along the way, true? You'll deal with disappointment after disappointment, but know this, you can still be incredibly brave, amazing, talented, loving, strong, all the great things that this world has to offer, and go through tough times. To have a meaningful life, you have to have meaningful problems. Always ask yourself, am I making a good difference? And are you living the way you want to be remembered? Cheers.